Your kid comes home from school. Something happened. Maybe another kid said something. Maybe they got left out at recess. Maybe they didn't get picked for the team. And the first words out of their mouth are, "Why does this always happen to me?" That sentence right there, that's the fork in the road. Because what you say next is shaping how your child sees the world, as a place that's out to get them or a place they can move through with strength. In this video, I'm going to teach you one idea that changes that answer forever. An idea that will train your child to face anything life throws at them. Being left out, failing, unfairness, from a place of strength instead of feeling like a victim. Not because you kept hard things from them, but because you taught them what hard things are actually for. I've been a parenting coach for 5 years. I facilitated dozens of parenting classes. I have training in conscious parenting, nonviolent communication, attachment parenting, somatic experiencing. But in the past 2 years, I've gone deep into the world of ancient Jewish wisdom and Kabbalah. And there is one book that changed my whole view of parenting, The Art of Elevation by Yechiel Harari. And today I'm going to teach you one of the biggest ideas he talks about. Here it is. The world is not against them. That's it. That's the whole idea. I know it sounds simple, but watch what happens when a child believes the opposite. When a child believes the world is against him, every bad thing becomes proof. The teacher is against him. The kid at recess is against him. The test was unfair. Life is unfair. He closes up. He stops trusting people. He gets defensive and angry, or he shuts down. And every time something doesn't go his way, he takes it as a sign that something is wrong with him. But when a child believes the world is not against him, that even the hard things are somehow for him, everything changes. The question in his head shifts from why me to what am I being asked here to do. That one shift is the difference between a child who feels like a victim and a child who knows he has power. And you can't teach that by conversation. You teach it in the small everyday moments, in how you respond when they come to you hurt, frustrated, or stuck. So let me show you how this looks like in real life in my home. My kids fight all the time. My older son hits his younger brother. The younger comes to me crying. Most parents do one of the two things. They rush and comfort the one who got hurt, or they go after the one who did the hitting. I try not to do either of those things. Instead, what I do is I tell my younger one, I ask him, what can he do in this situation? Not, are you okay, or why did he do that? I'm putting the power back in his hands. Because the moment I treat him like a victim, I'm telling him a story, that his feelings depend on what his brother does. I'm teaching him to feel helpless. Instead, I'm teaching him that even when someone does something to you, you still have choices. You can walk away, you can use your words, you can come to me. The hitting happens. There is nothing you can do about that. But what happens next, that's your choice. And here's what I've been seeing again and again. When you do this every time, kids stop coming to you looking for someone to blame. They start coming to you for answers. Another example for you. My youngest is 5. He still has meltdowns. The fool on the floor can't hear anything meltdowns. After he calms down a little, I come and I say to him, you have a choice. You can pull yourself together and go on with your day, or you can sit here and cry. It is your choice. What you wanted is not going to happen right now. I'm not shaming him or ignoring his feelings. I know that what he's feeling is real, but I also know that it doesn't have to run the show and he can choose to act differently right now. That's the mindset in action. From this is happening to me to I get to decide what to do about it. Now, why does this work? Here is the ancient wisdom this idea leans on. The Creator is not trying to punish us or create suffering. The Creator is completely good and wants to give good. But here's the catch. The real good cannot come as a free gift. It has to be earned through inner work. A person has to act, struggle, and grow in order to truly own the good. That is why hard things exist, not to break us, but to invite us to grow and to reveal the potential inside of us. Hard things in your child's life, the mean kid, the tough teacher, the failed test, is here for one reason only: to bring out a hidden strength. The challenge isn't blocking their growth, the challenge is their way to growth. So when things look like they're against your child, the deeper truth is that something good is trying to come out. Even falling exists so we can learn how to rise. When you plant this into your child from a young age, they gain an inner security that is very hard to shake. Even when life looks harsh, they know deep down, this is here to help me grow, not to hurt me. So how do we raise a child who believes the world is not against him? In the book, The Art of Elevation, Yechiel Harari lays out several principles behind this belief. Today, I'm going to share 4 of them with you, with exactly how each one of them looks like at home. The first principle is that bad feelings come from outside. In Jewish thought, every sadness, every anger, every fear your child feels does not come from who he really is inside. It comes from the outside. These unwanted feelings are visitors, and a child gets to choose which part of himself he listens to. If he doesn't treat this fear or his anger as who he is, then it will not define him. And now notice how this connects to our big idea. The world is not against him doesn't only mean the outside world, the teacher, the kids at recess, the unfair test. It includes his inner world too. Even his own bad feelings are not against him. His anger, his fear, his jealousy, they show up only for him to beat them. Every time he faces one of those feelings and chooses differently, a piece of his hidden strength comes out. So the feeling isn't the enemy, it's an invitation for him to grow. This is why we must never label a child by his bad behavior, his failures, or his feelings. You're acting angry right now is worlds apart from you're an angry kid. The first one describes something passing through him. The second one tells him who he is. And the moment the child believes that's who he is, he starts to believe that he can't change it. But when we separate the child from the feeling, we hand him something powerful, a battle that he can actually win. And every time a child wins one of his inner battles, every time the anger rises and he chooses differently, he learns something no one can take away from him, that he is stronger than his own bad feelings. The world isn't against him, and neither is what's inside of him. The second principle is never allow despair. Judaism teaches that a person was made for that inner struggle. So falling into despair is like quitting a mission we were built to win. Despair comes from reading reality wrong, because the divine is only good. Everything in the end happens for the good, which means it's hopeless is never actually true, and despair is dangerous because it makes a child feel helpless, tired, and unmotivated. So we never let our children sink into everything is dark. Even when things look hopeless, it's always better to find one small thing a child can do than to stare at everything that they can't. Pause for a second. Think of the last time your kid said something was hopeless. I'll never get it. Nobody likes me. There's no point. What did you say back? Hold on to that thought for a moment. Now here's what that moment could look like. Your daughter comes home and says, nobody wants to sit with me at lunch. First, we show her that we see her. That probably hurts. She feels seen, and then we ask, is there one kid you can talk to? We're not arguing with her sadness. We're just not letting it turn into despair. By finding one small thing she can do, we are showing her that there is always an opening and she has always an option. There it is. That is the option that you have when a child comes to you with a feeling of despair. The third principle is to build their belief that they can succeed. What makes one person succeed and another fail is not talent. It's their belief that they can succeed. If we believe there's always a good answer, we act. If we doubt ourselves, we sit back and give up. Every child will face hard things, that's certain. What we can give them is a deep belief that they can handle life. And here's how that belief gets built. Trust them with small jobs. Let them pour their own drink, even if they spill it. Let them cut the salad, even if the pieces come out uneven. Let them handle their own money, make their own choices. Every time we do something for them that they could do for themselves, we quietly tell them, I don't think you can handle this. And if I never let them make mistakes, I weaken their confidence and block their growth. Small jobs, real mistakes, real fixes, that's where self-belief comes from. Before I give you the last principle, I want you to do something with me. Take 10 seconds, really, pause the video if you need to, and think of the last hard parenting moment. The meltdown, the slammed door, the tears. Got it? Ask yourself, in that moment, what story was your child trying to tell himself? Nobody likes me? I can't do anything right? It's not fair? Hold on to that story, because the last principle is about that exactly. The fourth principle is to teach them to check the story in their head. People imagine reality all the time, without noticing. We imagine a meal before we eat it and feel pleasure. We imagine failing a test and feel fear before anything actually happened. Kids do this too, but for them it's almost all feeling. And a false story traps them. It makes their small, scared reading of things feel like the truth itself. A true reading does the opposite. It opens up the picture. It lifts them out from their narrow view and helps them see more. So when your kid says, everyone hates me, you don't say, no, they don't. You say, tell me what happened. Let's figure out what actually is true here. You're teaching him to look again, to shift his view, to notice the good he was filtering out. That's what moves a child from his small, scared world into a real connection with life and reality. And that story you thought of a minute ago, from your last hard moment, next time it shows up, now you know exactly what to do with it. I want to leave you with one last story. A mother in one of my groups shared that her son was being left out at school. He never played with his friends at recess. Kids picked on him. He couldn't find his place, and it was breaking her heart. Now, she could have tried to fix the problem for him, talk to the teachers, call the other kids' parents, manage the whole thing from the outside. That's what the urge to protect tells us to do. Instead, she had many talks with him. She helped him work through the social situations he was struggling with. What he could say, how he could act, what he could try to do. One real-life moment at a time. Today, her son isn't the center of the social scene, and he doesn't need to be. He found his place. He has a few close friends, and most importantly, kids don't pick on him anymore. And he feels confident because his mother taught him through real life that he can change his reality, that he has power, that he chooses what to say and how to act. And now he learned that the challenge that he was facing was there for him to grow. The world is not against him. That's the whole idea in one story. She didn't fix the world for him. She taught him that the world wasn't against him and that he had the power to move within it. When your child stops asking, why me, and starts asking, what now, everything changes. They stop waiting for the world to be fair and start looking for what they can control. That's not just positive thinking, it's power. It's actual power. If you want this in your hands, for the next hard moment, I made you a 2-page guide, the Reframe Toolkit. 7 questions to ask instead of are you okay? The link is in the description below. It takes 10 seconds to grab it, and you'll have it on your fridge before the next meltdown. And if you want to dive deeper into these ancient ideas, start with my video on the root of well-being, where I share why trying to make our kids happy is actually the wrong goal. I'll see you there.